So I'm back on. We was going over the true name of the so-called FBA, the so-called African Americans, the so-called Aboriginal Americans, whoever. Okay, the true name for the people is Mississippian, and we can go into the field of archaeology and we can determine that. 100%. So what this man is talking about is a civilization that the people are currently unaware of. All right? All of the talking heads, all of the scholars, all of the people that we think are respectable people to listen to because we think they know what they're talking about and we are thinking that they have done the research, they're all telling us that, we're foundational Black Americans, or we built this country, and we came over here from Africa, and we fought against that for 400 years. Okay, man. We're not doing any studying, So when we go into the Mississippian world, we were just in Hero Hawk and Open Hand. We're just in this book right here, which is what y'all should go pick up, all right? Yale University Press is telling y'all who the Mississippians is, and y'all can learn y'all real spirituality. We're looking at who the Mississippians are. We wonder why people like Flavor Flav, Kodak Black, whatever, who we just heard the brother 19 Keys talk about, why do those people look like that? Are they African? No, we've been here. And when we go to the Mississippian timeline, which I've done before, the Mississippian timeline tells you, this is from the National Park Service, U.S. Department of the Interior, Archaeology Program, Ancient Architects of the Mississippi. All right? Look, the first mounds in the southeast used mainly to bury the dead were probably constructed between 8,000 BC and 1,000 BC. So we were over here way past anyone has even talked about ever. All right, we're never dove into the fact that there are mounds all across North America, like really super sophisticated mound complexes. All right, it tells you that the Mississippian time period did not end until 1500s to 1600s. All right, really it was the 1700s. That's really when all the power started to be usurped. But you have people, a civilization. Remember, we showed you that there's more pyramids over here than any other place in the world, right? These people had a civilization to themselves from 8,000, 10,000 BC all the way undisturbed till we got to the 1700s. All right? And we don't really understand how everything really happened and how we really lost power. But when you look at the interactions that was going on between the first Europeans that came over here and the Mississippians, we would understand that it was just enterprises that was trying to be set up. It was partnerships that was trying to be put together. All right? Look. Who in the background? Nobody, the Native American story, that's not what happened. That's not what happened. So when we really go look at the information, you could dive into books like this, The Conquest of Florida, where you're going to learn about Satriona, from what really happened, and not just some books that people put together and did the reading on their own and they flipped the story on you. But look at these books that we should have. Talking about when they first really got over here. It's what we really need to know. Okay? Jacques Lamont, René de Lanière. Okay, we need to know these people because they ran into these people. And the stories are laid out. We just never even talked about it. This is Satriona. So if you don't believe that this is Satriona, I pulled it up for everybody before, where the Met Museum actually talks about it. All right? So the Met Museum has, you can go look, metmuseum.org. They're going to tell you who he is. Among the bride's illustrations to René de Laudernier's report about the abortive French settlement in Florida in 1562, we find the exact model for the Moorish tattoos in those of the powerful king called Satriona. Okay, this is Satriona right here. How ceremonies are performed by Satriona when he wants to war against his enemies. What? So this is Satriona. They know that because of the tattoos, right? But the whole, they're talking about the sculpture here. They're saying this is Satriona. And we know that because we went into Theodore de Brye's book. Because Theodore de Brye is the one who took the illustrations from Jacques Lemon. That's Theodore de Brye. He took the illustrations from Jacques Lemon when he first got here. Look, that's Satriona too. All right. This is Satriona. And this is a Mississippian. And we know that because they just explained that the tattoos are illustrated in these engravings. The statue right here. And this is a brother sculpture, okay? Which is, when we come out of this book right here, let's see. When we come out of here, we can see the other sculpture. Okay, this is not the same one. This is a different sculpture than this one right here. And that's the second one. So this sculpture is this one in color, okay? They're talking about the Mississippians of Florida. So if you're from Florida, you're a Mississippian. Even if you're from the Northeast, you're a Mississippian, all right? And then they also talk about the pearls. Look, Moor with pearl cluster. They calling him a Moor because of his skin tone, okay? That's just adjective at this point, kind of synonymous with negro, all right? But look, this is a pearl cluster. He's holding a tray of pearl clusters. They're showing you what level of sophistication that they were on. We don't know. This is 1562, by the way, okay? I'm trying to put everybody on a timeline so that we understand what really went down, why there are Black Native Americans and why there are the other Native Americans that, we shouldn't even be using that terminology. The Native Americans that we know and think are Native Americans, those are immigrants. Either they're Hispanic or they're from Siberia, Mongolia, that part of the world. That's where they came from. But this is not them. This is the Mississippians, who Black people are. Okay? Let's go back into... So, you guys know who that is. That's Satriona, Mississippian, right? All right, we should know that. Now, let's go into Tuscaloosa. You guys ever heard of Tuscaloosa? Y'all remember when, oh boy, Deontay Wilder was talking about Tuscaloosa? Let's see.
This river right here, it means a lot to me because I defeated death here. I was about 7, 8, and under. And how? I know it's hard to believe because you think about a whale in the river hitting you up, but it was in speed. They say angels come in all shapes, sizes, and forms, and definitely saved me. The famous Black Warrior River is known to be named after Chief Tuscaloosa, which Tuscaloosa means Black Warrior. And they said Chief Tuscaloosa was tall, dark-skinned, between 6'5" to 7 feet tall. He was a warrior. He was a resemblance of myself. Yeah, ultimate warrior. Until one day the Spanish came along and they got him out of there. You know, everyone has an expiration date.
So we don't dive into the stories. We don't dive into the real history. He knows, and we never ask ourselves, how you got his chief? We don't know what level of sophistication that chief was on, though, Tuscaloosa. And when we really just not know about this, we think that he was kind of similar probably to a Native American. He came and just got wiped out by some sophisticated Spanish. No, it's not what happened. Because when we look at Tuscaloosa, they give you, let's look at the encyclopedia of Alabama.org, okay? Meaning of DeSoto and Chief Tuscaloosa. An image of an encounter between Conquistador Hernando de Soto, center left, and Mississippian chief, not Native American, not Moorish, not African American, not foundational Black American chief Tuscaloosa. It's a Mississippian chief Tuscaloosa. And let's see, what does he look like? What is he wearing? He's wearing a gold chain. You see that plate chain? You see the kilt that he got on? That's Tuscaloosa, right? We looking at Tuscaloosa? Encyclopedia of Alabama.org. He didn't just come and get wiped out. And peep how he looked. He looked just like this. He wearing the same exact thing. Although this could possibly be Altina. The Met Museum didn't give a name for this particular piece, but they gave a name for Saturiona's piece. But Tuscaloosa is wearing the same thing that this emperor is wearing right here. This Mississippian emperor. All right? So let's address that. Let's address the fact that we have not dove into the Mississippian world. All right? When we go into this book right here, and they told us, you could be from the Northeast. So you could be Narragansett. You could be Pokanoke, right? The War of 1676. Look, when was this book written? 1859. Great Indian War of 1675, 1676. So in 1562, we look like this, right? 1562, we was doing this. And then as we moved further along into relationships with Europeans, Spanish, French, English, Dutch, whatever, things started to change. But look how we looking in the 1675, 1676. We looking just like this. Right? Okay? These are Mississippians as well. Coming out of this right here. All right? Let's go back. So how do we get a better understanding of like what was going on? All right. Let's take a look at some of the things that we need to be looking at. So what this guy say? Chief Riverwind. We're talking about the mounds because the Mississippians built the mounds, right? So we need to connect ourselves to this history, this Mississippian history. Okay, these are Mississippians with our own spiritual belief system. All right, y'all seen that before? That's Mississippian. That iron open hand, that comes out of the Mississippi. And when I say the Mississippi, I mean North America specifically. Okay? North America specifically. We're not talking about Central America. We're not talking about South America. We're not talking about Peru, Brazil. We're not talking about Mexico or Teotihuacan. No, we're talking about Alabama, Tennessee, Texas, Virginia, the Northeast, Delaware, the DMV area, Illinois. Okay, we're talking about the whole Midwest. This is, you heard what the professor said, Dr. Keith Ashley, this is an interconnected network where they're trading, they're mining precious metals. This is in the 1500s. This is a people that was connected to their ancestral knowledge from 10,000 years ago, thousands of years ago. Okay, if you look at the timeline of the Mississippians, it's the oldest, most intact timeline. From 8,000 BC, you could push that back because I just was in Louisiana and they updated the age of the LSU mounds. And they pushed that back. All right, so it was untouched until when early European contact got here and things started to change and we started to have relationships and try to do business with each other and work with each other. And we can look at, let's look at this. So what is this? All right, and we need to find these engravings. Founding of the East India Company, 1717. Merchants and missionaries with the Indians at the mouth of the Mississippi River. It's a lot of trade going on. All right? So they telling you they bringing slaves over. No, they was over here with us. We was cool for a little bit. Some of us was messing with the Spanish. Some of us was messing with the French. Some of us was getting down with the Dutch. Okay? But at the same time, you had the Spanish trying to kick out the French. You had this French and the English going at it. You know what I'm saying? So it was, you just got to know how complex it was and know that at no point were Africans coming over here and running things. This was already a high civilization, highly sophisticated civilization that existed in the Americas. So we could just keep looking at the timeline. You know, we was in the 1500s. We saw how we looked in the 1500s over here. We saw how we looked in the 1600s over here, 1700s. All right. Let's see. So let's pull this up. Where we at with it? Okay, so where we at? We on Yale, yale.edu. They letting you know. What is this? Captain Smith, the first Englishman who went ashore in Virginia, taking the king of Peloponnese prisoner. Okay, so what is this? Is this not this? Is this not these people? Is this not the Mississippians? Because this is Captain John Smith, so he's connected to Pocahontas, right? So that's Yale University. And then when we go in this book right here, you know, this the Narragansett people and the Poconokeets. This is 1859, the Great Indian War. They look like this. And then they look like this. This Virginia. Captain John Smith. Yale University.edu. These are not small Native American tribes, okay? We have to connect ourselves back to where we're really from, which is the Mississippi. All right? When we look into, so look, we just all over the place. We just cross-referencing everywhere. So even in the 1800s, when you look at the deputation of Indians from the Mississippi tribes to the governor, let's look at the image that's produced. Who are these people? Deputation of Indians from the Mississippi tribes. Okay, look at this. This is the year of 1814. This is when we are in interaction with the United States. We are our own people at this time, but we over here doing business with the United States too. Or with the colonies that's trying to form. Well, it is the United States after 1776. So just look at our activity. And we were like, oh, these are Africans, or these are just black, aboriginal, whatever. Where did they come from? Like, they just were roaming around nomadically? No. This is already connected to this history. You know, they told you that the Chickasaws, the Creeks, the Cherokees, the Choctaws, the Kickapoos, whatever. These are all Mississippians that are interconnected and have a way of life that is super sophisticated. All right. And they mentioned that we're not talking about the Native Americans. That's what they made clear in the beginning in this particular book right here. Okay. Hero Hawk and Open Hand. All right. Who are the Mississippian peoples? Let's see. I showed y'all, but just to show y'all again. Let's see if I pull it up. Let's see. Okay. Who are the Mississippian peoples? They tell you. All right. It's everybody from the northeast to the Midwest to the deep south. It's everybody. This is 1814. All right. This explains why these people look like this. This explains why this is not Africans taken in by Native Americans. All right. Let's look at some other ones. Indiana University. All right, what year is this? 1813. What do they look like? Why are they so in the whole system of the United States? Why are they so involved if they're not